Hi, my name's David. I work for SAS Institute, and I am the general manager of their energy business.
Hi, my name is Caroline. I'm David's wife. I also work part-time for School of Rock, which is fun, and I help run a non-profit organisation in Raleigh.
I met Nicoa when I was in a previous role before I joined SAS at ABB. I was struggling. I was struggling with negativity and criticism of the business that I was leading, and it was starting to impact the rest of the organization. My inability to deal with that negativity and criticism. So a lot of what I did with Nicoa was started out about how I handled other people's input into what we were doing, and it grew from there actually to be more of a life lesson or a life coaching type of thing. So it kind of expanded from being just about how I operated in the business to how I operated in my life.
So definitely as a family, we started to see changes pretty quickly. I would say, I don't know if David noticed, but we did. Little things like finishing a meal, even when his phone rang, not, dropping everything to answer the call. So I think that made me feel that when he was present, he was actually present. And I think as a partner, that's very important, that you feel when they come home at the end of the day that the family is their focus and they've left work behind. And I also think some of what David learned with Nicoa helped us in family situations. It helped us diffuse situations which, could have become bigger issues, but we sat down and communicated. I think communication was key for us, and learning to understand perhaps what the other person meant by a certain comment or action instead of assuming and going on the defensive immediately. So I think we have a much more harmonious family life, and I think we have the right work-life balance now. And I'll always say Nicoa really made a difference to my life as well as to David's and the children. So thanks, Nicoa.
Biggest takeaways for me, I think about not reacting, responding. One of the key things that I remember from working with Nicoa was that don't react, just kind of take a little bit of time to process and understand people's intentions, rather than just and then respond in and if you respond in a positive way, you often get positive back. So the more positive that you can be, the more you can take something on board and take a positive action, the easier it is to deal with, and people get used to that. They start reflecting that from you as an individual. They're expecting you to take on board that feedback and do something positive with it. And probably the biggest single takeaway overall is that if you take positive actions, you actually drive a lot more momentum and a lot more progress in your business. So that kind of processing things to really be positive about what you do and not allow the negativity to consume your time and your focus is a real differentiator. So I use the skills and insights that I gained from Nicoa's coaching a lot, actually. Not all the time, but most days. And the things that remind me, she's got a set of phrases, if you like, that it's like this: respond, don't react, don't compare. Compare despair is another thing that I don't compare yourself. You don't need to compare yourself. Don't take the negative perspective, take the positive perspective, and it's becomes quite, kind of subconscious. You do it all the time if you practice it enough. I would say to start with, you do need to practice that stuff, but once you practice it a lot, it becomes the normal way to deal with those kind of issues. Yeah, I use those skills a lot, and I still think about it at those times when maybe there's an event that could or would previously have triggered me, or at least triggered me still enough for me to think about it a little bit more deeply. I still think about those things and use those skills most days.
I think it's important to understand that the coach isn't just going to affect your life. If they're good, they're going to have an effect on your family life, on your relationship with your siblings, your parents, your children. I'll still say to David on occasions, if there's a situation, I'll say to him, well, what would Nicoa say? And then everything stops and he reevaluates the situation. We all do. We even do it with our teenage kids. And I think that is a phrase that will stick with me, is like, what would Nicoa say? And I think that shows how much trust I have in her influence. So I think everybody should have a Nicoa. She's fabulous.
You've got to create a bond. You share a lot of very personal information, and you need to have absolute confidence. I was able to do that actually quite quickly with Nicoa to form that relationship and have that bond. So I'd recommend you spend a little bit of time, find out whether you can form that bond with Nicoa, and if you can, she's a fabulous coach, and I would recommend her without any doubt.